Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Shapely TV. Woo! This episode is all about friends. You know, what about your friends and how to make you some, right? And we're going to start by introducing ourselves. And we have a lovely guest, and you'll get to meet her in 1 second. But I'm Iya, and you can find me across all platforms at Shapely TV.
I'm co-host Toya Burris. You can find me at Toya Do It Big on Twitter.
I'm Sharon on IG at Giggly Coco.
And I'm Jasmine Omorogbe. You can find me at jasmineomo.com.
Okay. So the drinking word of the episode is friends. So if you're 21 and only if you're over 21 and over, take a shot every time you hear the word friends. So I would like Jasmine to give like a formal introduction, who you are, you know, what you're going to be talking about. Let's go.
All right. So again, I'm Jasmine. I go by Jasmine OMO online. I am a career consultant. I am a software consultant by day. But why I'm here today is because I have been a friend maker. So I've lived in 5 different cities, and I've had to build community in each of those different places. Sometimes not knowing anybody, sometimes knowing 1 or 2 people in the city, but thankfully I've been able to cultivate a strong friendship group everywhere I go. And so people are typically asking me about how I do it, what strategies work. I also am a communication strategist just by nature. So I'm here to talk about how I've made friends all across the country.
Okay. So I saw your live. You did a couple of lives about friendship making and things like that. And I was like, this will be great because people in the plus size community and I'm talking about, there's like specific people who kind of globe trot with people that look like them, because, you know, we can struggle with making friends in, I don't want to say the normal world or whatever, but what society deems to be acceptable world. So to me, and I've experienced my own traumas myself, which we'll dive into, but this is why the conversation is so important. So Jasmine, how did you go about, I want to say, breaking the ice with people? How do you break the ice? And is there like a strategy you use or anything like that?
So I think part of that, even like one step before that, is being in the right places at the right time. Mm-hmm. So one thing that I think is very important if people want to make new friends is you have to set the intention that you want to make new friends, whether that be joining online communities, whether that's going to different places in the city that you haven't been to, taking a new route home. So one thing is that friends typically don't break into your house. So number one, before you even break the ice, you have to figure out where are you going to be to even meet anybody new. If you do the same routine every single day and it's not bringing you new friends, well, something has to change. So number one, you have to set your mindset to it. But then I think when you're at somewhere and you see someone who you think might be a good friend, or you feel in their energy, you're maybe having a little bit of maybe group conversation. I think compliments are something that help break the ice. So if you're standing next to somebody, you know, hey, I like your XYZ. And you would try to make it something that's genuine, maybe something that's not necessarily super obvious. Or if you're in like a Zoom call, or I really like your comment, I really like what you posted about XYZ. So finding some way, because of course, flattery just gets you as far as it possibly can. Right. Complimenting someone or agreeing with something that they said, or asking them for more information. I think anytime you can be curious and you can be interested, as opposed to being interesting, right? So you don't want to go up to somebody and say, hey, I like this and I like this and here's about me. No, you're trying to find out more about them. So asking questions, whether it be, you know, how did you find out about this? Or how do you know the host of this party? Or what do you do? Those sorts of things are always going to be a good icebreaker. And I'll admit that it's awkward. I think it can take practice to get used to talking to people who when you're not usually used to just starting up a conversation. But finding something curious, finding something to be curious about is usually a good way to break the ice.
Right. I have a question, right? And I love the be interested in and not interesting, right? That was it?
Yes.
So I'm going to drop that right there because I really like that. So what happens if you meet somebody in an elevator, right? At an event, and you're trying to take a selfie with them and they're mean to you, right? What would you say you would do then?
This will never die.
Okay. Okay, so it sounds like there's
And
a
that
story
person just
here.
so happens to be there.
This seems personal.
What's the story? I need some context.
So we were at a plus size event,
Oh,
right?
God,
And I'm
no.
trying to make new friends. And I'm like, hey, you guys want to be in my selfie? And she's just like,
No.
so have you been friend-jected before? And like, how did you handle that?
Denied.
And so, yes, actually, but one thing about the way you approach, I think it's always going to be very different. You want to match the energy. So if someone is chilling and then you come up, hey, I'm Jasmine, how are you? It's like, whoa. Right. If you're hype and then someone else is like, hi, nice to meet you. Like it's too much. So one thing is trying to observe the context. If somebody's chilling by themselves, going up to them or putting them in a photo when they may not know you or want to be with
Shade,
you.
I feel the shade, but okay.
We all learn. We're all evolving, but I think that may be a little bit aggressive for some people. So I think maybe like, hey, what's your name? Oh, where are you from? Okay, well, we're about to take a picture. Did you want to jump in it? Okay, that's fine. We'll see you at lunch.
My mama always told me not to speak to strangers, and I'm gonna stick by it.
So matching energies. So I should have walked into the elevator with an attitude, right? And match.
I didn't have attitude. I just didn't want to be
Match the energies. Moving right along.
I cannot.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So,
I cannot.
for me, actually, Toya and I was having this conversation because in full transparency, I did call Jasmine one time. I was like stressed over life, and you dropped some knowledge, and I was like, thank you for that. And you were also resourceful and went through on everything you said you were going to. But Toya and I were having a conversation, and I was like, I'm pretty much like a homebody or whatever. And you pointed out that I've experienced a lot of like social trauma, I think. I've been the fat friend, the one that couldn't get into the club if the rest of her crew didn't come, or the one that just couldn't get into the club, period. And it's not probably the night I went out with you in Philadelphia, it was like probably the first time I was like to a club in, I don't even remember how long.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. When I'm home, like Sharon's out every night. Toya's at a backyard party every weekend. I'm in the house, and I started, when she said it, I never thought of it like that. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like that plays a role,
Yeah.
I don't know. You the one who told me. But Sharon, you're a person of size. Have you ever experienced that, or is just like?
I don't care if I go to a regular size party or a plus size party. That doesn't really affect me.
Right.
I've been the fat friend or the fattest friend, and that doesn't affect me either.
Okay.
So, I mean, you carry yourself well, and if you do, then you should be good. But I feel like you don't meet anybody because you go to bed at 8.
Ooh.
If you would go to bed maybe at midnight, a little bit after midnight, maybe you can meet somebody.
Okay.
You need to change your bedtime.
Note to self: change bedtime. But it was definitely cool because, again, doing Shapely, you could get so caught up in the plus size world,
right?
And it was so cool to have that moment of time in Philly when it was just like a whole, everybody just, hey, you know what I'm saying? It was.
And Jasmine, the problem with Iya is if she goes to a place, she doesn't want to stay more than an hour. This is why I didn't get dressed to go meet you, because I knew she would be back at the hotel in an hour. I was like, I'm not getting dressed to find parking, look for a place, look for parking for 15 minutes, be in the place for 45 minutes, and be back at the hotel for an hour. It defeats the purpose. What am I getting dressed for? So I stood home. I stood at the hotel.
So I think one of Jasmine's tips would be to stay longer than an hour. I'm thinking that's coming up. Correct, Jasmine?
Stay as long as you're comfortable.
Right.
I also feel like you need. I think for your case that you need to get comfortable with being in environments that are, I think you got so used to being in these specific type of environments with plus size people that it's okay to exist in spaces where we're not like the majority. And that's normal too. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of like, especially, I think we're a little sensitive. And so it's like, you're thinking like, oh, I'm the only fat girl here. And then like
constant thought.
Yeah. And then like, but you might, it's kind of like my phobia when I used to go to the gym and I was scared of the weight deck. Because I was thinking, oh, everyone's looking at me. They ain't looking at you. Trust me and believe. They are not worried about you. And it's the same thing at a dance. Like everybody's just there. Like I go to like a lot of like
but T, she doesn't get up for the dances either. She stays in the hotel sleeping. So she doesn't even participate in the plus size dances. That's why I leave it out her. And it's always a problem.
But I would
am
say
I right or am I
you
wrong?
need to like get out of your comfort zone.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Look, next tip, Jasmine.
Y'all got all the tips. Stay longer than an hour. Don't go to bed early. Get out your room.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
No, I do think, I will say that I think your social trauma or social anxiety is real, especially when you're someone who deviates from what society calls normal or whatever else. Anybody who's outside the lines in any way, I think it can be easy to say everyone here is looking at me. But I think one thing is picking the right spaces, going to places where there are people like you, or going to places that are just kind of open and friendly. Like don't go to some party downtown where you know the bouncer is going to kick you out. Like just like you wouldn't go there. Don't go to those spaces. But going places that you at least trying it, maybe going for an hour the first time, and the next time, okay, last time was cool. Maybe I'll go for an hour and a half. Okay, maybe I'll speak to somebody at the bar. Maybe I'll start a conversation. But I think all of that starts with your mind and the intention and knowing that what happened in the past doesn't have to be what happens again in the future. If you decide, right, like hey, I want to make friends, so I'm going to do 2 new things to make friends. But it's easy. I know I understand the trauma part of like being scared or being scarred by past experiences. But with anything in life, like all your past experiences can hold you back, or you can say, here's the line, from now on, I'm creating new experiences, and then move on in that intention.
Right.
It's hard though. I'm not going to tell you it's easy. It is something to think through and to feel like, why am I feeling that way? And then maybe get to those underlying feelings and making sure like once you feel great about you, like Sharon said, like once you get in there, it doesn't matter who else is in there, because I'm in here like, and I look good and I'm here to have a good time, right? And people I think can sense that energy off of you too.
Yeah.
And she's typically the friendly friend. So I don't know why she has the problem.
She's working on it.
You know what? I think I do well in I don't do well in a party environment. Like I do if it's like meetup so we can go to an interactive space, or a meetup so we can go snorkeling or something like that. I thrive in those environments, but it's the nightlife that I'm just like, I'm pretty socially awkward at that point.
And that's okay too, though. I think that's part of it, knowing what your lane is. So if you want to snorkel, if you want to take pictures with people, if you want to be in photography groups, you're in travel groups, I think finding your lane, like not everybody is a nightlife person. And so, you know, there's stuff that happens all day, every day in every city before 8 p.m. So it's just still going to get involved in those type of things. I think it's totally fine to not have to feel like you have to meet people at parties. Because usually, you know, sometimes people are drinking, sometimes people aren't their whole selves then anyway, or their wild selves there. So I think it's fine to meet people outside of that environment either way.
All right. And we were, you know, talking, we had a meeting about like events and stuff, and really we're gonna start like Shapely Social for that same reason. You know, I think it's always great to take a problem and see how you can solve it, not only for yourself but for others. And like bowling, pool, stuff like that. I feel like I have to graduate to like to parties.
But you don't either. Like Jasmine was saying, and I think that's wise advice too. I think that you might go to a few like nightlife events and realize that's not really your thing, and that shouldn't like never going to be comfortable, and that is okay also. Like not everybody's a club person, not everybody's a gonna be in a dance doing a frog back. I could explain that later. Maybe I could drop a clip of what that looks like. But but you know, like that, it's like, you know, finding out what is for you,
right,
and existing in those spaces, and that's cool. That's fine.
yes, just not elevators with mean people on it. But moving right along. What are some of the resources that you use, Jasmine, for these?
So I think in terms of communication, there are a bunch of books. There's one I like. It's called The Communication Habit. Like if you want to get better at communicating, of learning how to start conversations, learning how to have presence and those sorts of things. There are books. There's another book called 92 Little Tricks.
Oh,
Talk to Anyone. That's another book by Neil Lowndes, and I can send this to you so you can put it in the comment
We'll
boxes.
put it in the description, guys. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So I'll share some of those with you. But I think in terms of events or finding things in a city to do, Meetup is one of my favorites. Meetup.com. A lot of times people think it's a dating site, but it's not. It's literally a site for people to meet up around common causes. So if you want to sew, or if you like photography, if you are a young urban professional, and they have them sometimes very specific groups. So 20 to 30s in this part of town, ages 30 to 40 who live in this area. Like it's very specific. So I think going to Meetup, making a profile, and then just seeing kind of all the events that are going on in your area around different topics. Because sometimes there's sunrise hikes. You never ever will find me at a sunrise hike, but there are people who like to really and who like to have fun, but you'll find me at a nighttime event for sure, right? So there's kind of everything for everybody. Meetup.com, looking at Eventbrite always has stuff. And I really am a big proponent, especially for people who aren't as comfortable meeting people in person, is for online groups. So I know Iya and I are in some of the same groups on Facebook. I'm in groups about plants. I'm in groups about plus size life. I'm in groups about Black travel, about Blackness, period. So that's how I've actually met a ton of people, is meeting them online and then having some conversation. And then, oh, when you come to my city, let me know, I'll take you to lunch. Or, oh, when I'm in your city, I meet people all the time just saying, hey, I'm going to be in Arizona next week. Does anybody live there? Anybody want to take me around? And then I get to Arizona and I meet that person. But I would have never, ever naturally ran across them in life. So starting conversations online with like-minded folks and then taking it in person after that is another strategy that could work too. So Facebook groups, the books that I shared, and then Eventbrite and Meetup.
So go online and then get offline, folks.
I like that. I like that. Snazzy. Speaking of events and meetups, some events we're looking forward to. Our Shapely team would be in Cancun, and like by the time this episode's dropped, we'll probably be on the beach sipping Mai Tais.
I'm gonna be twerking in a bikini.
Hey,
you're gonna be twerking in that floss, not bikini. Floss.
Floss, exactly. It is floss. She should meet a lot of people then. She should meet a lot of people then. And also the Atlanta Stars Bash is coming up in August. And as mentioned earlier in the episode, we're going to continue to check our events page, because we're going to be loading things, especially if in the New York City area, plan on visiting, whatever. And then we have events nationwide and internationally. So that would be awesome. And Jasmine, are you working on anything? Any upcoming projects? Any more lives? Because those lives, if y'all haven't checked out Jasmine's live, they're still on there. Please do. But go ahead.
They are. Thank you. So yes, I will be doing more lives. I asked folks what they wanted me to chat about. So some things were, friendship making, but living in different states. I also, of course, do career coaching. So I'll be doing some group coaching sessions starting in August around resumes, cover letters, confidence when job searching, all those sorts of things. So just stay tuned to JasmineOMO.com or on Instagram at the JasmineOMO.
And that's it. You guys got any ending salutations besides don't be mean to people in elevators?
I would say that I think it's just important for people to just be themselves, and who is for you will be for you. Like you'll meet people that like you click with. So that's my best advice on making friends.
Sharon?
I have no advice.
This is the energy, Jasmine. This is the energy. I'm gonna match this. Oh my God. Help her. Say something to Sharon. Say something to Sharon real quick. Just drop
I don't think I'm so much as a friendly like Aya. I think I'm the observer. Like I just like try to take the feel of the person. I'm not really like
Not sold right away.
none of that stuff. No. So I'm not, I don't want to say that I'm not friendly because I think I'm a very nice person, but I'm not as friendly as her. So I guess that's why we get along.
Balance.
Yes, I am the person that would be like, hello, and I'm introducing, and I turn around and Sharon's like 19 paces.
Yeah, I'm usually I talk to the person. I wait for her down
like
the
this.
road. Yeah. Oh, I'll look at my phone. I'm on my business.
Yeah.
And drink water.
But you know what? I don't know why, but I think that works. I don't know if it lends a level of intrigue or people feel interested, but it's like they be thirsty to I'm like, she's just Sharon. Like she's not a celebrity. Although I did tell her she was today, but you know, I don't know. I don't know. I guess some people like her. Oh my God. She's not that special. Nah, let me stop. She's awesome, and I love her dearly, and I couldn't imagine life without her, right? She said, you're supposed to say that back to me now, Sharon. Go ahead. Let the people know.
Likewise, I assigned to her.
Ditto. So, Jasmine, thank you for joining our goofy, friendly episode. And especially when, you know, we do these workshops and these forums and, you know, people, in all seriousness, social anxiety is a real thing. If you can take the time out to say hello to somebody, if you see somebody struggling, take the time out to say, hey, you can sit with us, you know, be as welcoming and inviting as you can, because you never know what day people had. You never know what people are dealing with. Sometimes a simple smile can like really brighten up somebody's day. So let's
absolutely
be with our words and inviting in our actions. And thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Yeah. Have a good day, guys. Woo!